On today's episode of Anime Afterthought, ReZero, Season 2, Episode 14, Straight Bet. Have you guys enjoyed your little break from ReZero? I mean, the first part of Season 2 has been some of the most intense anime I have ever witnessed in my entire life. I mean, let's do a little recap. Subaru has officially met every single witch of sin, each one an interesting character and a complex personality all to their own. This includes Satella, the Witch of Envy, the witch who literally has a grasp on his heart and is responsible for a majority of the pain and suffering Subaru has gone through in his stay in the land of Lagunica. Suffice it to say though, she turns out to be a completely different character than I first gave her credit towards. Even though she is sporting some serious ominous aura, you can tell that there's genuine feelings there. A witch not only in love with Subaru, but wants him to love himself. Words that seem to echo with him, because at the same time, he had a serious decision to make, to accept or decline Echidna's offer. Partnering up with the Witch of Greed, what could go wrong? I don't know. But in the end, he actually turned it down. He said, you know what, I'd rather take someone else's hand, referring to Beatrice, the one trapped in the mansion's library, the one that's quite literally on the chopping block. I mean, I'm proud of Subaru for turning down Echidna, but in the end, I think that's a decision that's gonna bite him in the ass. Do we really think the Witch of Greed has given up? I don't think so. But I gotta say, the most shocking turn of events is finding out the true culprit behind the mansion massacre. Possessing a tome of wisdom all to himself, Roswell reveals that it was he who hired the assassins. He wants to push Amelia to the edge. He wants her to rely on the one character he knows can actually fulfill his dreams. It seems Roswell has long suspected that Subaru has the ability to alter fate, to manipulate time, and if it means he can achieve his own endgame, he will quite literally do anything. And if Subaru wants to achieve his dream, he would throw away everything he holds precious to make that happen, just like he did. Now, mind you, he went through all this while suffering unimaginable pain inflicted by assassins, including the Bow Hunter, died at the hands of his own friends, the witches, and a swarm of demon rabbits, which I heard in the light novels is even more vivid than what was depicted in the anime. Let's just say in the anime it was pretty fucking gory. All caught up? Good, because we quite literally begin today's episode where the last one left off, where Subaru is getting slugged by Otto in the forest. Once again, it's up to Best Boy to literally knock some sense into him. Hey, it's okay to act tough and strong for the girl you like, but when push comes to shove, you need to ask others for help. Being the self-proclaimed weakling that he is and no longer relying solely on return by death, when someone you trust offers a helping hand, you grab it. And it looks like this little tryst out into the woods was more successful than just instilling confidence back into Subaru. It looks like he has a plan, as we see him return to Roswell with a startling proclamation. A bet, a wager to decide the future. Subaru believes not only can he free the sanctuary, but at the same time save everyone at the mansion, a feat that he has yet been able to even get close to. Roswell is absolutely stunned. Not only did he not believe he would be seeing Subaru this go around, but he's shocked by the utter gall, the pure greed of what he's trying to accomplish. Saving everyone while discarding nothing? It is in direct opposition of what Roswell was trying to do. Little by little, wear away at Subaru's humanity. Discard everything you hold dear to accomplish your goals. So if he's successful, what does Subaru want? The Margrave's allegiance. What Subaru has just set into motion is actually quite ingenious. Roswell has made it known that he could be one of Subaru's biggest obstacles. Winning this wager by getting everyone's desired outcomes will be proof to this Machiavellian monster that siding with Subaru is his best option. And with that, the bet is on. But of course, this all hinges on his ability to actually fulfill not only saving the mansion, but freeing the sanctuary. Something that is easier said than done. Even with Otto help and some kind of plan going on, there is still so much to do. And through Ram, Subaru is reminded of one of the biggest issues still to deal with, the fact that Amelia has to pass the sanctuary trial. Thanks to Subaru, we know what the first trial is. It's dealing with one's past. But so far, we haven't seen what Amelia is going through. All we know at the end of it, she has failed, is emotionally and physically exhausted, and the only thing she seems to be able to do is cry. These are telltale signs of a tragic past. Now, while Amelia feels safe with Subaru, she's only given us bits and pieces of what she's actually going through. This is beginning to paint a picture, but it's not the whole thing. and there's actually a reason for this. Amelia's memories are in fact sealed. Who's the culprit? It seems to be our furry little mad lad, Puck. It seemed the contract that bound him to Amelia also worked as a barrier to keep out these tragic memories. And even more shocking is Subaru actually picked up on this, pretending to harm Amelia to force Puck to reveal himself. This gives us our most emotional scene of today's episode. Amelia is literally reliving those little glimpses of memories, once again just bursting out into tears. Unconsciously, she's literally asleep watching this play by, and the only thing she can do is cry. She wakes up and lo and behold, Puck is physically in front of her. Someone who she thought abandoned her. Now in a more diminutive size, it seems time is running out. But Puck is not here to chit-chat. He's here to do one thing and one thing only: break their contract, thus releasing Amelia's memories. And he does just that. As the pendant that Amelia wears that houses Puck cracks, the spirit literally dissipates in front of her, as we see Amelia once again fall unconscious. While harsh, this is absolutely necessary. How is Amelia supposed to deal with her own emotions if she can't remember her past? At least she has Subaru, right? At least that's what she thought. As she's preparing to sleep, she has one request: please hold my hand till morning. That's all I ask of you. Maybe she has a feeling she's about to experience something very sad. For once she closes her eyes, the images we see paint a more in-depth picture. One of possible lies, betrayal, and even a mother. Once again, this seems too much for Amelia to bear as she wakes up to a shock. Subaru seems to have abandoned her. She is slowly but surely running out of people to trust. But is this a good thing? Remember, we saw what happens to Amelia when she solely relies on Subaru. So realizing she has no one else to rely on, maybe that would give her the motivation, the confidence to overcome what she's going through. But I was a little surprised myself to see Subaru missing when she woke up. But if the end scene says anything, it says that Subaru was hard at work, as we see him show up to Amelia, who is already at the graveyard, covered in dirt and injuries. Did my main man Subaru just pull off a 2-for-1, not only making Amelia a more independent woman, but also manipulating shit behind the scenes? I can't wait to find out. The thing I'm most curious about is how in-depth of a plan that him and Otto have concocted. I mean, the forest gives you the assumption that there is some giant scheme going on. We see that Otto is playing his part, and if those scars at the end are any indication, Subaru is pulling the strings behind the scene. And it seems to involve more than just them. It seems to involve every character. We see them actually end up at Ryuzu at one point. This is where they learned about, the 4 heads, the 4 supervisors of the other clones, finally realizing that in certain instances he's been talking to different Ryuzus. I mean, we know of Arma, we know of Bilma, and the one outlier, the one that actually paired up with Garfield, the one dressed in white, was actually Shima. Now, we get a little bit more of her backstory. She seems to be opposed to freeing the sanctuary, and it could have something to do with Garfield. Now, Garfield and Frederica seem to have abandoned by their mother at the sanctuary, and this has left a scar on Garfield. We don't know if it's anger or sadness, but this is why he takes his mother's name. We also learn the reason that Shima is no longer one of the supervisors, the fact that when Garfield went into the graveyard to take his test and didn't come out, she broke a cardinal rule to actually go in there and save him. So it really does speak to their relationship. He might call her an old hag, but it seems those two are very close. So when it comes to dealing with Garfield, they have set a plan in motion. Subaru visiting the building that houses the clone, and then at one point when Garfield is tasked to find the supposed missing Amelia, little did they know she was actually already at the sanctuary, the graveyard. He thought something was up, so he went to Shima to warn her, and she's missing. When he goes to the actual facility, he's not greeted by Shima or Arma or Bilma. He's actually greeted by Otto. So it seems there's this giant plan. All these gears are moving. I'm not 100% sure how things are supposed to work out going forward. I can't wait for the reveal though. I'm getting excited. Why did they have to have Otto confront Garfield? Where are all the Ryuzu? What was Subaru doing? Why did he abandon Amelia at night? Oh God. Subaru is armed with the knowledge of several previous lifetimes, and this time he's actually confiding in his friends. There's an air of confidence in him that we haven't seen so far. Will this be the time? Will this be the successful cycle? It has to be. He literally wagered his future on it. Like, oh god, I'm so glad this series is back. So fucking glad. Anyways, I think now would be a perfect time. If you haven't already seen it, there is an OVA. It's on Crunchyroll. You can watch it as free with ads. It's called The Frozen Bond. This gives a deeper look into the post-thawed Amelia, how she meets Puck, how their contract is formed. It's pretty badass. It's visually stunning. I really enjoyed it, and there's, pretty badass fight. I'm not gonna say, I'll admit it. There's a pretty badass fight. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if we're gonna get more of Amelia's memories, going forward, but I think now would be a great time to actually watch it. Anyways, with all that being said and more ReZero next week, I honestly cannot wait for future episodes.